I knew something was wrong the moment she stopped answering my calls. Not just once or twice. Not even 3 times. But for 3 straight days, every message I sent vanished into the void. Every call went to voicemail. Every "Are you okay?" remained unread, untouched, ignored. This was Emma, my wife of 6 years. The woman who used to text me mid-meeting just to tell me she missed my face. The woman who once cried when I forgot to pack her a lunch because she loved the silly notes I left inside. Now, silence. The first day I excused it. Maybe her phone died, maybe she was too busy with work, maybe she needed space. The second day excuses got harder. My chest tightened with every passing hour. By the third day, panic set in. My mind went to every place a husband's mind shouldn't. Accidents, hospitals, danger. But then, late at night, I saw her Instagram story. A cocktail glass glinting against candlelight. A pool shimmering under neon lights. Her laughter, familiar, cruelly familiar, behind the camera. And a man's voice. Confident. Not mine. My hands went cold. My chest hollowed out. I replayed it again and again, just to be sure I wasn't losing my mind. But it was undeniable. She wasn't missing. She wasn't hurt. She wasn't lost. She was gone. By choice. When she came home 3 days later, she waltzed in like nothing had happened. "Hey babe," she said, setting her suitcase down by the door. Sun-kissed, hair tousled, perfume thicker than guilt. I stared at her, searching for the woman I married. "Where were you?" My voice cracked sharper than I intended. She froze, then laughed, brittle and fake. "Work trip. I told you, remember?" "No, Emma." You cut me off. Not a single call. Not a text. Nothing. For 3 days. Her eyes darted, the way they always did when she scrambled for a lie. I had no service. It was a retreat off-grid. That's why. Clenched my jaw. Funny. The retreat had cocktails, pools, and men with deep voices. Her face drained of color. For the first time in years she had no script. No excuse ready. That night I didn't shout. I didn't throw things. I didn't demand answers. Instead I disappeared. I packed a single duffel bag while she showered, still humming a tune as if the walls hadn't already caved in around us. I took my wallet, my keys, the old photo album she'd forgotten existed, and then I walked out the door. No note. No explanation. Just the absence she had carved first. The days that followed were a strange mixture of freedom and suffocation. I checked into a small Airbnb an hour out of town, overlooking a lake so still it felt unnatural. I sat on the porch for hours, watching the ripples, thinking, feeling, breaking. The messages started on the second day. "Emma. Where are you? Emma. This isn't funny. Come home. Emma. If this is about my trip, you're overreacting. Emma. James, answer me." I didn't reply. Every vibration of my phone was a reminder of her voice over that Instagram story. The carefree laughter that was never for me. And yet, a part of me wanted to go back. To hear her apologize, to hold her, to believe her. Because how do you erase 6 years overnight? But then the images replayed. The cocktail glass. Pool. The man. He stayed gone. On the 5th day she showed up. I knew she would eventually. Emma was stubborn, relentless when she wanted something. She found the cabin, knocked on the door with shaky fists. "James," she whispered when I opened it. Her eyes were swollen, her hair undone. She looked smaller somehow. I stood in the doorway, blocking her from entering. "What do you want?" Her lips trembled. I just want to talk." I let her in against my better judgment. She sat at the wooden table, fingers tracing the cracks in the surface, as if stalling for time. "It wasn't what you think," she said finally. I laughed bitterly. "Then what was it, Emma? Enlighten me." "A getaway. Just to clear my head. With friends. That's all. With friends who happen to sound like they've been sleeping in your bed." Her eyes shot up, sharp and defensive. "Don't twist this. You've been distant for months, James. You bury yourself in work, you forget me half the time. I just needed. Needed what? My voice cut through hers. Needed cocktails. Needed his voice. Needed to disappear and cut me off, just to come back and lie to my face. Her tears came then, messy and real. But I couldn't tell if they were for me, or for the life she thought she might lose. That night, she begged me not to leave. Please, James. We can fix this. Love you. I just made a mistake. Her words dripped like honey over shattered glass. Sweet but cutting. And God help me, I almost believed her. But then I remembered the silence. The void. The 3 days of unanswered calls while she lived another life. Love doesn't vanish like that. Not real love. I didn't return home. Instead, I filed for divorce quietly, deliberately. My lawyer advised me to gather evidence. And though it tore me apart, I did. The receipts, the hotel bookings, the photos that surfaced online from her so-called friends. It wasn't just suspicion anymore. It was proof. When she received the papers, she showed up again. This time she wasn't crying. You're seriously doing this? She hissed, holding the envelope like it was poison. I looked her dead in the eye. You already did this, Emma. The moment you cut me off, the moment you chose him over me. I'm just finishing what you started. Her face hardened. You'll regret this. But I didn't. Not even once. The months that followed weren't easy. Nights were long, mornings were empty. I'd wake up reaching for her, only to find a cold pillow. Grief doesn't care if someone betrayed you, it comes anyway. But slowly, the silence became peace instead of punishment. The lake, once too still, began to feel like calm instead of void. I started running again, something I hadn't done since before we married. I cooked meals for myself, burned half of them, laughed at my own mistakes. I lived. For me. The last time I saw Emma was at the courthouse. She looked different. Thinner, sharper, like life had already taken more from her than she expected. Her eyes searched mine, desperate for some crack, some weakness. But all she found was a man who had disappeared, not out of spite, but out of necessity. When the judge finalized the divorce, I walked out without looking back. And for the first time in months, I breathed without choking on betrayal. Some people think disappearing is cowardice, that it's running away. But sometimes, disappearing is survival. Because when someone cuts you off to conceal their secrets, when they erase you for their own escape, the only power left is to vanish on your own terms. And that's exactly what I did. I disappeared. Not to be found, not to punish her, but to rediscover the man she thought she could silence. And in that silence, I found myself again.